Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Saturday, October 24th, 2020. This is GoldFish Report number 595, and it's week 194 POTUS Report. Because of recent events, I've just found it necessary to, keep up with the vital reports that we're doing. I've been trying to take a little time off to kind of heal and take care of my health right now and things, and I'm doing that. But what happened this week was that YouTube arbitrarily took selected reports that we did 200, 300 reports ago and decided to give our channel violations of community standards. And of course, there was the third strike. There was no way to even appeal that. There should have been, but they just deleted the whole channel again, folks. 400 reports gone. And just like the first 200 reports, this is the second time that this has happened. This is our second channel that has been deleted by YouTube, and of course the first time was last election. So it's not a coincidence that it's happening again, sadly, but they understand the power that they wield, and sadly our government has acted very slow with regard to ringing in that power, because it's been abused. In fact, I would go as far as saying that not only have these social media platforms acted, let's see, they're going after them for antitrust violations, right? The Department of Justice has announced, as you all may know, this past week, that they will be uh, um, filing complaint against them for I guess Alphabet Inc., right, for antitrust violations. And it's not just antitrust, unfair. I guess underneath that you might consider bad faith as well. And it's not just bad faith. I would go as far to say that they would sabotage their users, which really has another level of malice involved, in my opinion. And that is my opinion. First, let me also just say thank you again to Ascension Radio for simulcasting this report tonight. The first hour is going to be our POTUS report. The second hour is going to be, let me just say this. The first hour is going to be live streamed on Facebook and simulcast on Ascension Radio. The links are on the Facebook page for that, okay? And also on Twitter. The second hour is only going to be on Ascension Radio, and for good reason. Because some of the conversation we're going to have may not be suitable for these social media platforms, since anything you talk about that is not something they like seems to violate their community standards. So we have to avoid that's the kind of conversation here, and we can talk about that on Ascension Radio, and we will. The second hour, I'm going to be featuring someone who you may know. She has been on the GoldFish Report before, and her name is Tiffany Fontenot. She is a certified reverse speech analyst, and she will be talking about some reversals that she has been finding through her analysis. And it's going to be talking about possible plans for a fake alien invasion, or and also the reversals that include the story of Charles Hall, which many of you may be familiar with. So that second hour is going to be of of another world, let's just say. So we hope that that's going to be interesting, but that will only be on Ascension Radio. So without further ado, again, thank you to Ascension Radio for simulcasting this. And I want to, very important at the top of the hour before we go any further, is want everyone to understand where they can where they can locate our reports. And the first place that you can go, of course, is to our BitChute channel. And I do have to do this at the top of the report, just so everybody understands. This is BitChute, and just type in the GoldFish Report. And please subscribe so you can get notifications of the upcoming reports that we do. We have all of our political theater reports, POTUS reports, Food for the Soul reports, and of course our exclusive interviews are all published here as well. The only thing that's not here is our Meme Monday reports, and that's exclusive just for our Patreons, for their support, for making that monthly commitment and helping to support the GoldFish Report. And if you're not a Patreon, we invite you to become a Patreon and receive these extra benefits, including early release, early preview of our exclusive interviews that we do as well. Now, aside from BitChute, which really has all of our reports on them as well, I mean, at least the last 400, right? We are also, as everybody may know as well, on Twitter. I'm going to screen share that for you too. This is our Twitter page, so it's at Report Goldfish. So here you can find not only our reports but news, because we are a news company, we are a news organization, so we do post the news. And of course, the page that you're on right now, watching this, if you're watching this. If you are watching this live streamed on our news page, this is where you can find it. You know, here's our 24/7 news page. So it's facebook.com/the GoldFish Report, and that's where you'll come to our almost 24/7 news page. And of course, we not only post our reports here, but we also post news, as you know. And don't forget, which we almost did, right? Don't forget that we have our archive channel on YouTube still. So if you want to visit that, just click on this link and you'll be directed right to the archive channel here. Hold on. There you have it. And we have some archives on here. We don't have all of them on here, but there's some good ones. I mean, we've got Santos Bonacci with Syncretism. We have some country roads on here. We have Rob Potter. We have Captain Randy Kramer, Laura Eisenhower. A lot of really great reports are still on here. So please don't forget to go there and check it out as well. Let's see, where else are we, folks? We're kind of everywhere. Let me go to another page, another channel that I can share with you. Let's see. I'll go back to, hold on a second. Okay, so there should be, yep, here it is. Okay, so we do have another YouTube channel. It's called the Canary Chronicles. If you want to click on this, you'll be directed to that YouTube channel, and here it is. This was an announcement that I had made, the Canary Chronicles. There's two the Canary Chronicles, and they're both ours. So they will both be updated, and eventually we'll be repurposing them in the future. So get my drift. Let's keep going. We are also on Parler, folks. You can also see us on Parler as well. I'm going to screen share this for you too, so you can see what that looks like on Parler. It's the GoldFish Report, so it's at the GoldFish Report with no spaces. Okay, and of course, here's the Canary Chronicles video that we posted, and it's news, so we have a lot of news and news that you're going to be interested in. Now, we also have our blog, which everybody knows about, right? The goldfishreport.blogspot.com. And if you come here for POTUS reports, you know that that's our blog, right? Because I talk about it and mention it like every time. But we are having a little trouble with the formatting of it. Strangely enough, I'm going to show it to you. Yeah, we're having some formatting disruption here. So the problem that I'm having is that, Blogspot is owned by Google. Not surprising, right? So I was just lucky to keep my email, for goodness sakes. But there, there's another round of censorship going on social media. So we're having some trouble with this channel, with this blog. And also, to provide a solution to that, I will direct you over to another website. Sorry, folks, this is the way it is in the world we're living in today. You can go to the whitehouseblogger.com. And of course, this is a sister site to the GoldFish Report. And this will also have all of the presidents, and only exclusively the presidents' press releases from the White House, which you can scroll down and see all the stories that are posted here as well. It's a lot of work, and this is really what it comes down to, which is why I really, really hope that people will consider supporting the GoldFish Report. making that monthly commitment, because it's a tremendous amount of work to keep a presence on social media during a time where we're really experiencing this, major shift, right? But don't forget, we also have, and just so that all of our viewers do know, we also have our website, thegoldfishreport.com. Now, this is going to all be changed over the next couple of days. It's going to be completely different. So if you come to thegoldfishreport.com, it will look different. But right now, you can still find most of our channels here. Almost everything is here. We don't have the White House Blogger or Parler. Let's see, are we on? Do I have Parler on here? No, I don't have Parler, and I don't have the. Yeah, there's a couple things that I need to add to this, but as you can see, it's a little crowded. It's time for a big change for GoldFish Report. So we're definitely putting together a new website here as well. And here, of course, is you click on here, you can become a Patreon, or you can just go donate right to our channel, go right to our donate page here, and you can donate through PayPal if you like as well. But your support is absolutely essential to keeping alternative media and to keeping independent journalists surviving. And that's very difficult in these times. So I think I've covered everything. I'm pretty sure that that's it. We also have the GoldFish Report group on Facebook, which is a private group. You have to answer 2 questions in order to be approved into the group. But we post private things there as well. And don't forget, we're on Ascension Radio too. So GoldFish Report is, we've had to spread ourselves far and wide in order to keep our presence, as you know. But basically, I mean, it's always very reliable to just go to BitChute, where you will find all the reports that we've had recently. And of course, if you are a Patreon, you'll get them all as well. So the Patreon links are going to have to be updated, because when YouTube deletes a channel, all your links go as well. So none of your reports are, but just know we have backups to everything, which is also a very time-consuming, effort to restore all of that, because it's not that simple. It's a matter of uploading and really having them on a completely separate drive so that they're not lost. So, folks, I wanted to just tell you all, thank you so much for staying with us and being the troopers that you are, because we're all in this together, and there's no way that we're going to get through this if we don't stick together. So I'm doing my part. If you can help make a commitment every month to help support GoldFish Report so we can continue to bring you the news, then we will. But I'm not going anywhere. I mean, they can do all they can, but I have resources. This is all set up. It's already done. And we need your support to keep it going, because now we're adding more websites and more expenses and everything. And, we just want to keep the news coming. We want to keep the news going. Now, speaking of the news, it was kind of funny driving around my neighborhood, and there was some people who ran over a Trump sign. They actually stole one of them at the end. They kept a Biden sign there, but they stole the Trump sign, just disappeared altogether. This is election season, crazy stuff going on. But also, what I noticed today was there was a lot of welcome home U.S. Army signs. A lot of people who have returned from abroad, returned from service, members of the U.S. Army, and we want to just welcome all of our soldiers home, and with a great big thanks for your service and your dedication and everything that you've done for our country. So the GoldFish Report is a very big supporter of our military, and we want to make sure that you all know how much we appreciate your service to our country, because well, even the digital soldiers, we know what it's like, taking the hits. And I have to say, we've taken a hit. We've taken one for the team this past week, a second time, by having that channel deleted and 400 reports deleted as well. That's a lot of time I've spent, folks, a lot of time that's just gone from YouTube. It's a lot of time, and it's like I said, I really personally feel it's more sabotage. There's no real fair recourse regarding appealing these strikes that you get on your channel, because it's all arbitrary, right? So this is an issue. So the other announcement that I have is that there will be a congressional hearing next week in the Senate Judiciary Committee with Jack Dorsey of Twitter and Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. I don't know why Susan Wojcicki's not there, but she's the head of YouTube. She should be there, right? But it is regarding censorship. It's regarding the 302 issue, which you know, they try to claim that they're simply just a platform, but in fact they're not. It's like, what's a platform? A community bulletin board, and it's not, because they're altering and changing. It's not just simply like a community standard. It's not like something that's inappropriate, something that everybody knows is like hate speech. Like, what hate speech is, right? It's not simply a matter of that. It is a matter of editing and therefore becoming publishers themselves, and really having them, having some accountability. Because I spoke to the chair of that committee yesterday, in fact. I wanted to make sure they were well aware of what YouTube has done and has been doing, and not only YouTube, but all of them, okay? And they made it very clear that, let me see, where's my notes here? They made it very clear that there was, I don't know, they made it very clear that it's taken a very long time in order to have this hearing. But, the wheels run very, very slowly, don't they? In government. Should be a little bit faster. So oh, here it is. Okay, so what we have is, it's a Judiciary Committee hearing, right? And it's regarding content. All these issues are going to be taken up in the hearing as well. It's going to be October 28th at 10 a.m. So this is the hearing. There's also a bill, Senate Bill 4534, which is talking about reform. So you want to make sure you contact your congressional representatives and tell them that you're supporting this S4534. This is sponsored by Roger Wicker, who is the head of this committee. And so these offices are the ones who are compiling the reports on this and assembling the investigation teams regarding the social media censorship. So I'm in contact with their office, and I'm going to be reporting updates from there as we go on. So what I'm going to do to get started, we want to move along because it's going to be an abbreviated POTUS report, because our second hour is going to be featuring Tiffany Fontenot, a certified reverse speech analyst, and we're going to be talking about a far out issue. We're going to be talking about what her reversals recently are showing, and is it possible that there's a fake alien invasion in the works? And folks, on the GoldFish Report that we have certainly uh, talked about this before on the GoldFish Report. And so since it's only going to be on Ascension Radio, we're not going to be able to share documents with you. But let's see. Hold on just one second. Okay, so let's get moving along to the blog and to what some of the news has been. We're going to do this quickly. I'm going to just basically go over the headlines, because we have a tight schedule tonight. We may go overtime. Now, that second hour that we're going to be doing on reverse speech, we're probably going to go overtime. So just so everybody knows, we're going to have a pretty packed 2 hours here. So let's move along. Here we have the new border wall nears 400 miles. President Trump is in Arizona today, where this was on October 19th, where average family incomes hit a record high and the poverty rate hit a record low in 2019, after just 3 years of President Trump's pro-growth, pro-worker policies. Arizona, much like the rest of our country, also benefited from President Trump's commitments to secure our border and fix America's broken immigration system. As of today, more than 370 miles of new border wall is complete. Just as important, the Trump administration is prosecuting and deporting violent criminals, stopping the flow of illegal drugs, and closing loopholes that help smugglers and hurt our citizens. The refugee system is set up to provide refuge for victims of war and persecution who had nowhere else to go, often on an explicitly temporary basis, had long since become a racket. National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd writes. It provided prestigious jobs in Washington for resettlement experts and taxpayer money for glorified slumlords, while generating massive fallout for unsuspecting American communities. Today, the system has finally been returned to its proper role. With other strong actions from the Trump administration, including building the border wall, apprehensions for illegal immigration dropped 70% between last May and this August. And during the past fiscal year alone, U.S. law enforcement seized over 100,000 pounds of cocaine, 83,000 pounds of meth, and 2,700 pounds of fentanyl, and more. Illegal immigration hurts everyone. It empowers criminals, bankrolls human smugglers, and fuels transnational gangs. It costs both legal immigrants and U.S. citizens a shot at the American dream. It endangers law enforcement officers, makes our communities less stable, and puts law-abiding workers and businesses at a disadvantage. Open borders would make all these problems worse and destroy America's trust in their government. A safe, strong country needs a safe, strong immigration system. If you'd like those videos for this, I'm not going to play them just because we're very tight on time tonight. President Trump's America's seniors will be first in line for a safe, effective vaccine. President Trump spoke in Florida on Friday at an event on protecting America's seniors, ensuring that they receive the care, respect, and support they deserve. I will protect you, I will defend you, I will fight for you with every ounce of energy and conviction I have, President Trump said. You devoted your life to this country, and I am devoting my life to you. I mean, when have you ever heard a president talk like this? This is why, as President Trump said during the debates, that he's not a politician, and he isn't. He's playing a different game here. Average Medicare premiums have dropped by 34% since President Trump took office. Some states have experienced price reductions over 50% or more. Medicare prescription drug prices have also declined, with premiums down 12% on average. I stood up to Big Pharma, and that's not easy, President Trump said. They got big money. They're the biggest lobbyists in the country by far, and I signed an executive order implementing a most favored nations policy for the United States, which ensures that Medicare won't pay more than other countries for important drugs. After coronavirus spread from China across the world, the Trump administration went to work holding Beijing and the World Health Organization accountable for their failures while protecting the American people from both economic and physical harm. I'm moving heaven and earth to safeguard our seniors from the China virus, to deliver life-saving therapies in record time, and to distribute a safe and effective vaccine before the end of the year, President Trump said. You're the generation that defeated fascism and triumphed over communism, sent American astronauts to the moon. You built our country in the greatest and most powerful nation the world has ever known. Our seniors remind us of the extraordinary American legacy that President Trump is fighting to protect. And here's a lovely photo of the president disembarking Air Force One in Muskegon, Michigan. There's a transcript here regarding his trip to Prescott, Arizona. That was a wonderful rally. I'm going to take it off screen share just so I can scroll through that. Oh, actually, it wasn't that long. Okay, those were just brief comments. You can come to the blog, thegoldfishreport.blogspot.com, and you can check that out. Again, talking about the borders, but also Israel and Bahrain on Sunday formally declared that they have made peace and established formal diplomatic relations, only the fourth such agreement between the Jewish state and the Arab country, Raphael Aaron reports. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin represented the Trump administration, which helped broker the deal. Read more in the Times of Israel. You can come to the blog and you can click on that. A top Federal Communications Commission staffer blasted Twitter for freezing the New York Post Twitter account, while Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is still free to tweet. The dictator, who once called for the destruction of Israel on the social media site, has posted at least 6 tweets since Wednesday, when the Post's account was blocked. Tamir Lepin reports from the New York Post. There will be more. We will talk more about that. Healthcare in America is too bureaucratic, costly, and complex. Self-styled progressive politicians claim they have a remedy for that, namely the creation of a new government-run health plan. Four policy experts from the Heritage Foundation write, if progressives were to enact their massive demolition project, they claim that American healthcare will be superior. Don't believe it. Read more in the Daily Signal. Here we also have a text of a letter to the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate. This is regarding termination of national emergency. Wait a second, it's not a termination. This is an extension, I'm sure. It's also posted in the Federal Register. You can go there for more details and take a look at that. Okay, the actions of significant narcotic traffickers centered in Colombia continue to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, and to cause an extreme level of violence, corruption, and harm in the United States and abroad. For this reason, I have determined that it is necessary to continue the national emergency declared in Executive Order 12978 with respect to significant narcotic traffickers centered in Colombia. So they're usually always extensions of the executive orders. Let's move along. This is the executive order. This is the notice right here, as I just read. This is what it's about. We also have the White House Fall Garden Tour has opened, and these are beautiful pictures. I'm sorry that listeners on Ascension Radio can't appreciate this, but you can go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can check them out. Really, really beautiful here. Everything's reserved. The First Lady did a fantastic job renovating this beautiful rose garden here. You can come and take a look at these pictures. I am screen sharing some of them. Oh, wow, that is beautiful. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Look at everyone snapping pictures. So come here, take a look at these beautiful pictures of the rose garden, the renovated rose garden, and it looks as though there's different birds here. Guests attend the fall garden tours. They're not talking about it specifically, but I think it attracts several different species of birds, and they have them all listed here, so that looks very interesting. I would presume that's what it's talking about, like why else would they have that there? But I didn't, the caption on these photos don't indicate that. But here you're walking around, you can take the tour there of the garden at the White House, so that's really beautiful. And I'm going to just go through this very quickly so that I can move along to the news because we have so much to talk about in such a short period of time now. Okay, so that's a day. Let's go to the 20th. Okay, screen share this so our viewers can take a look at what's going on there. Okay, so in accordance with Section 1264 of the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2018, as amended, I'm transmitting the annual report on the legal and policy frameworks guiding the United States use of military force and related national security operations. So this is also a notice. Here we have more West Wing reads, Obamacare's illusion of pre-existing condition protections. President Trump's recent executive order laying out his America First healthcare plan makes clear his continued commitment to the long-standing bipartisan consensus that we should protect people with pre-existing conditions. Unfortunately, the previous administration's attempt to make good on that consensus, Obamacare, has failed to deliver on its promise. CMS Administrator Seema Verma writes in the National Review, "It's time the national debate over Obamacare finally confronts this reality." In 10 days, we expect a report that says third quarter real GDP rebounded at a 33.4% annual rate. Economist Brian Westbury writes, "The sharp rebound in Q3 is a testament to the underlying strength of the U.S. economy before the shutdowns. Moreover, the U.S. entered this government-mandated recession with the highest incomes and lowest poverty rate we have ever recorded." Read more in Real Clear Politics. I have always said that HUD's true measure of success is not how many individuals we can get onto our assistance programs, but how many we can lift out of government assistance and set on the path to self-sufficiency. Under Trump's leadership, there is a rising tide lifting all boats, Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson writes for the Washington Examiner. President Trump announced Monday that he will be removing Sudan from the State Department's state sponsors of terrorism list after the Sudanese government agreed to pay $335 million in compensation for families of American victims of terrorism. Trump's announcement is part of a wider agreement that is expected to include moves from Sudan towards normalizing relations with Israel. Barak Ravid writes for Axios. Of course, there is a joint statement by the United States, the Kingdom of Bahrain, and the State of Israel. And you can come to the blog and take a look at it, because in the essence of time, not to minimize this historic agreement here, this historic time, but in the sake of time tonight, I can't read everything. So here's also another transcript of the president when he was in Phoenix, Arizona. And of course, that's where Ascension Radio is from. So hello, Arizona, and hello, Ascension Radio. So here we have some other news, which I also reported on at the top of this report, which was regarding YouTube deletes the GoldFish Report channel ahead of the 2020 election. And this is exactly what has happened. As I do have some other links here, so you can go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com. and you can click on our BitChute channel where you can see most of our reports for free. But if you would like to if you'd like to see all of the reports, you can also become a Patreon and consider, please, making a monthly commitment to help support the GoldFish Report and keep the news going. So I'm going to just stop for a second just to see how all of the news is going, and it looks like we are so censored on Facebook as well. So it's but it's okay. We're offering this, and as a live stream, so those who can see it will, and it'll be posted so everybody can find it at a later time. So we're going to move along to the White House blogger in order to check out some other news from the White House. The only other news that's not up to date right now is the photos of the week. That's not uploaded, but we can. That will be uploaded tonight, so you can go there and take a look at that. So we're going to go to the WhiteHouseBlogger.com, and we're going to check out the other stories that we have here from the White House this week. We have a proclamation on United Nations Day. That's interesting. Today, on the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, we celebrate its commitment to peace and security, prosperity, human rights, rule of law, and development. Okay, so come here and take a look at the rest of this. United Nations has a little ways to go to clean up its act, I think, right? Yeah. Okay, so here we have, this was again, because I knew I was going to end up reading it, so let's read it now. This has to do with the normalization of relations between Sudan and Israel. Again, oh wait, is this the, oh no, this is the, I will get to this. This is actually a transcript, which I'm not going to read. I have to get used to the new, yeah, I will find that. I will get back to that. All right, let's talk about this. 5 stories the president doesn't want you to miss. And of course, we already talked about Sudan to join the UAE. Bahrain is recognizing Israel. So let's go to the blog and check it out. President Donald Trump announced Friday that Sudan will start to normalize ties with Israel, making it the 3rd Arab state to do so as part of a U.S. brokered deals. Deb Reichman and Matthew Lee report. Sudan had demonstrated its commitment in battling terrorism. This is one of the great days in the history of Sudan, President Trump said. Also, the titans of social media, Jack Dorsey and at Twitter and Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, lead their companies the way China does. These men want to control what the public sees, which enables them to better monitor and ultimately influence every aspect of society and life. Armstrong Williams writes, "It's hard to imagine a more insidious effort to subvert freedom of speech, expression, and the free flow of ideas." You can click here and read more on how Team Trump is fighting China's ploys to control the UN. "I've seen firsthand the Chinese Communist Party's increasingly aggressive efforts to manipulate UN agencies to whitewash its bad behavior, silence criticism, and advance authoritarian government," U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Kelly Craft writes. "Unlike our predecessors, the Trump administration is clear-eyed about this threat." Why Operation Warp Speed is a made in America story. "We've already seen tremendous unprecedented progress toward a vaccine. 4 of our 6 vaccine candidates are in the final stage of human trials, and we may even see data emerge from 1 or more of these in October. In the meantime, a unique Made in America story is being written." Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar writes. "Attacks on U.S. COVID response are unjustified," doctor says, confronting Ohio's rural opioid crisis. Throughout Ohio and across the country, as we emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic, another health crisis remains: drug addiction. President Trump has expanded the use of telemedicine, unraveling burdensome regulations to ensure those receiving counseling for substance use disorder are able to receive continuous care, writes Jim Carroll, director of the White House's Office of National Drug Control Policy. From day one, President Trump waged war on opioid addiction, and we do know that. Let's go back to the blog. And there was a joint statement. You can come to the blog and check it out, from the joint statement of the United States, of the Republic of Sudan, and the State of Israel. You can come to the blog, to the whitehouseblogger.com, and you can check out that statement. There is a text of a notice on the continuation of the national emergency with respect to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There is also a text of a letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President of the Senate regarding that extension or continuation of national emergency. And here is a statement from the press secretary on Sudan, which we can read. "President Donald J. Trump has informed Congress of his intent to formally rescind Sudan's designation as a state sponsor of terrorism. This follows on Sudan's recent agreement to resolve certain claims of United States victims of terror and their families. Yesterday, in fulfillment of that agreement, the transitional government of Sudan transferred $335 million into an escrow account for these victims and their families, as we reported earlier. By finally serving justice for the American people, President Trump was able to achieve what previous presidents could not: the resolution of long-standing claims of victims of the East Africa Embassy bombings, the attack on the USS Cole, and the murder of USAID employee John Granville. This is a significant achievement for the president and his administration, and brings a measure of closure to many to whom it has long been out of reach. Today represents a momentous step forward in the United States-Sudan bilateral relationship, and marks a pivotal turning point for Sudan, allowing for a new future of collaboration and support for its ongoing and historic democratic transition. We commend the transitional government of Sudan for its work to chart a new course and stand ready to support the people of Sudan as they work to build a better future for themselves and future generations. It is essential that Congress act now to pass the legislation required to ensure that the American people rapidly realize the full benefits of this policy breakthrough." So I'm going to stop sharing there for just a moment. Oh, hold on. No, we have more. Right, I'm going to share this one. The First Lady announces Halloween at the White House. Let's go to that one and take a look. First Lady Melania Trump announces Halloween at the White House. On Sunday, October 25th, the White House grounds will open to ghosts, fairies, superheroes, tiny goblins, and other costume trick-or-treaters as celebrations commence for the Trump administration's 4th annual Halloween festivities at the White House. Gates will open to frontline workers, military families, and school children accompanied by their parents from 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. This year's Halloween event will feature a vibrant display of bright-colored leaves that will envelop the south portico columns in various shades of autumn. An array of chrysanthemums will also cascade down the east and west staircases, presenting subtle highlights of nature's beauty, and will be intermixed with festive pumpkins. Waiting to greet an audience of costumed trick-or-treaters. Extra precautions have been put in place by the Trump administration to help ensure the health and safety of all guests wishing to participate in this year's spooky celebration. If you want to learn more about this, please go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com. There is a list of items that are not allowed at the White House grounds. It's posted right here. There's also a phone number that you can call to check on the status of the event. So there's important information regarding this event on this press release. So I do encourage everyone who may be interested in it to come to the blog. And I'm sorry, the White House blogger, and take a look at that press release. Also, very, very big. We know that this past week, Ivanka Trump and Secretary Mike Pompeo also had another conference regarding human trafficking. Sadly, it was amazing. Sadly, there wasn't one question from the mainstream media. I don't know how that happens, right? Not one question. In fact, they were reporting it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop, right? No, you could hear crickets, I think, is what someone, I think maybe Dan Bongino had said that. So here we have a press release statement from the press secretary regarding the National Action Plan to combat human trafficking. And this is big, folks. You know it's big. It's big because this is what they're not allowed. They don't talk about. This is the 800-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to the media. Nobody wants to talk about this. And you know why. Statement from, so here it is. This week, the White House released the first ever comprehensive National Action Plan to combat human trafficking. The National Action Plan represents the broad-based, multidisciplinary, whole-of-government strategy of the United States to eradicate human trafficking. This plan is built around 3 pillars laid out in the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000: prevention, protection, and prosecution. The NAP, as it is known, the NAP's 4th pillar recognizes the invaluable benefit of implementing collaborative and cooperative efforts that cross-cut all 3 pillars and involve a multitude of stakeholders and professionals from various disciplines and sectors. Under the heading of each pillar, the NAP identifies foundational principles and associated priority action items. Human trafficking is an intolerable blight on any society that values freedom, individual rights, human dignity, and the rule of law. The Trump administration is committed to leveraging every resource we have to confront this threat, support victims, and hold traffickers accountable. To read the National Action Plan, please click the link below, and you'll find it there. That's a very big deal. It's a very big one. Here we have President Donald Trump is taking unprecedented steps to protect pensions of American workers. Today, President Trump, this was the 22nd. Today, President Trump issued a presidential memorandum directing his administration to review the Obama administration's decision to terminate the pension plans of Delphi Corporation's non-union and salaried workers. When Delphi Corporation spun off from General Motors in 1999, its union workers received a deal from GM to protect their pensions, while non-unionized and salaried workers did not. After both companies went bankrupt, Delphi's union pensions were fully protected, while its non-union and salaried pensions were not. The non-union and salaried retirees have spent the last decade in legal and financial limbo as they challenge this decision in the federal courts. The memorandum calls for a thorough review of the decision to terminate, for additional transparency around the decision, and for information about the actions the federal government can take to remedy the situation, including potentially restoring the plan. President Trump is committed to protecting the pensions of hardworking Americans, regardless of union affiliations. The president is also calling for a thorough review of the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation's financial position. That's the PBGC, Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporations. The PBGC serves as a vital safety net for millions of Americans with defined benefit pension plans. In 2019, the Government Accountability Office included the PBGC's single employer and multi-employer programs on its list of high-risk government programs. The multi-employer program is partially vulnerable and is projected to become insolvent within the next 5 years. The President's memorandum directs the Secretaries of the Treasury, Commerce, and Labor to inform the President of steps that can be taken to strengthen these programs and provide financial certainty and security for millions of Americans. And protecting the American auto industry. President Trump has taken numerous actions to protect American auto jobs. President Trump is protecting the American automobile industry, its workforce, and is standing up for American innovation. The president signed the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, the USMCA, which includes game-changing new protections for American workers. President Trump worked to significantly improve the United States-Korea Free Trade Agreement, securing key changes that benefit the American automobile industry. Last year, the president issued a proclamation directing his administration to pursue negotiations to protect the automobile industry and its vital role in our national security. So, the president is doing everything that he can to protect the pension plans for retirees. And there's another press release about this on the blog here. And it gives you the details as to what the goals are. And you can, it's quite, there's quite a bit here to look at. But we have the blog. Come to the whitehouse.blogger.com. It's a website, and you can come and take a look at these press releases, take a look at these stories. Here's another story. Trump's greatest accomplishments are what he hasn't done. Under immense pressure by the media and other Democratic operatives at a time when nearly all global leaders were using the pandemic as an excuse to seize greater control, Trump did not. Molly Hemingway writes in The Federalist, whether it's not seizing power at a time nearly all other executives have, not launching wars in the manner of his predecessors, or not ignoring the campaign promises he made, some of President Donald Trump's greatest accomplishments are what he hasn't done. True, very true. There's more links. Click here to read more. Across the globe, the Chinese Communist Party aims to spread propaganda, restrict speech, and exploit personal data to malign ends. The United States accordingly cannot simply ignore the CCP's ideological objectives. Washington must understand that the fight against Chinese aggression first requires recognizing it and defending ourselves against it. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien writes for Foreign Affairs. President Trump often says that his America First foreign policy does not mean America alone. Nowhere is this better exemplified than in the new USMCA deal. Replace the outdated, ineffective NAFTA, North American Trade Agreement, and better positions the American economy and its private sector for success. Deputy Energy Secretary Mark Menezes writes in Town Hall, Americans expect the air, water, and land to be clean. In the Trump administration, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is intensely focused on meeting these expectations. This focus has paid off. Since 2017, criteria air pollutant emissions have fallen 7%, making air quality the best it's been since modern record keeping began. Assistant EPA Administrator Susan Bodine writes for Real Clear Energy. And here we have the president signing statement regarding Senate Bill 209. Today, this was October 21st, I signed into law S-209, the Progress for Indian Tribes Act 2019. This act makes several amendments to enhance tribal self-governance under the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act of 1975 and helps promote many administration's goals of further empowering tribes. For example, the Department of Transportation recently implemented the Tribal Transportation Self-Governance Program, which provides federally recognized tribes and tribal organizations with greater control, flexibility, and decision-making authority over federal funds used to carry out tribal transportation programs, functions, services, and activities in tribal communities. And then there's a lot of details about this, but it's quite long, and we are getting ready to, you need to come and take a look at this on the website. Please do. There's more to read, and we're almost out of time because our second hour is going to get started very soon. But here we have President Trump announced judicial nominees. We have Thomas Kirsch of Indiana to serve as circuit judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. Of course, going to have to replace that seat that Amy Coney Barrett is going to be leaving vacant as she gets confirmed for this U.S. Supreme Court. We do believe that she will be confirmed. I think that they've already announced, Mitch McConnell, I believe, has already announced that they have the number of votes that they need. So also Joseph Barloon of Maryland to serve as judge in the United States Court of International Trade. Did you even know there was one? Amazing, very, very amazing stuff. So I do encourage everybody to come to the GoldFish Report .blogspot.com. And also this happens to be the WhiteHouseBlogger.com. So please come and check it out so that you can get the rest of the stories. And I think we may have one more story before we start our second hour. So let's take a look. There's also another bill that the president signed into law, which is Senate Bill 881. And this is, today I have signed into law Senate Bill 881, the Promoting Research and Observations of Space Weather to Improve the Forecasting of Tomorrow Act. They are so long, aren't they? They are so long. The Act provides authorities to improve the gathering of space weather data and the forecasting of space weather. I note, however, that certain provisions of the Act, while generally unobjectionable as a matter of policy, could limit my discretion under Article 2 of the Constitution to conduct the nation's foreign affairs. Interesting, folks, space weather. This is a really perfect segue into our next topic that we're going to be talking about, which has to do with space, in fact. So I am getting ready to welcome our guest for the second hour. I just want to thank everybody who has been watching on Facebook. We will not be continuing this on Facebook. We will only be continuing on Ascension Radio. So if you'd like, go to https://MPAQ. No, I'm sorry. I always forget radio comes first. radio.mpaq.org. So that is https, oh, it's a little loud, https://radio.mpaq.org for Ascension Radio. So I want to thank all of our viewers who are watching on Facebook. We're going to continue now on Ascension Radio for our second hour. And I want to thank everyone on Facebook Live. This will also be uploaded to our BitChute channel and our other and our page on Canary Chronicles. So thanks everyone for viewing. And for this portion of the GoldFish Report POTUS Report, this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.